So today, we're going to talk about a new tool that gives AI coding assistants something they've been missing, something they've desperately needed: vision. We're going to explore how this new bridge between blind code generation and what actually happens in the browser is, well, it's changing the game for developers.
All right, here's what we're going to cover. We'll start with the AI's current blind spot, then we'll see how this new tech is giving it sight. We'll take a look under the hood at its capabilities, see it in action, talk about the necessary boundaries, and then, finally, we'll think about what this really means for the future of coding.
Let's kick things off with a frustration that I think every developer who's used an AI assistant for web dev knows all too well. It's that endless cycle of generating code that just flat out doesn't work.
You know the drill, right? You ask your AI for a new feature, it confidently spits out this whole block of code, but then you run it in the browser and what are you greeted with? A broken layout, or maybe a console that's just lit up with red error messages. Why does this happen so often?
This quote right here, it just perfectly captures the core problem. See, until now, AI agents could only write code based on text and patterns they've seen. They had absolutely no way of seeing what that code actually does in a live browser. They've been completely disconnected from the outcome.
So, how do you take the blindfold off? This is where a pretty groundbreaking new tool from Google comes into play: the Chrome DevTools Model Context Protocol, or MCP for short. The key here is this Model Context Protocol. You can think of MCP as a kind of universal translator. It's an open-source standard that acts as a bridge, and it allows the AI not just to write code, but to directly communicate with and use the really powerful diagnostic tools that are already built right into Chrome DevTools. And this creates a huge shift. On the left, you've got the old way, a blind code generator that has to rely on you to find and report bugs. But on the right, with MCP, you have an agent with real-time browser awareness that can see the results of its own code and start diagnosing its own mistakes.
So what kind of new capabilities does this really unlock for our AI coding assistants? I mean, we're not just talking about spotting errors anymore. This is about actively investigating them.
Now, the AI can use the exact same tools a human developer would, and it can do it directly from a prompt. It can check network requests for issues, read console logs to find those sneaky errors, run performance traces to hunt down bottlenecks, inspect the DOM to fix layout problems, and even simulate user clicks and form submissions.
Okay, so what does this actually look like in a real-world workflow? This is all about finally connecting the dots between generating code and seeing if it works, turning debugging into a collaborative and even automated process. So instead of that frustrating back and forth, the entire workflow gets an upgrade. You describe a bug, the AI then autonomously uses DevTools to investigate the live page, figure out the root cause, and then propose a fix. And this is the crucial part: it can then test its own solution to confirm it actually works before it ever even shows it to you.
And hey, this isn't just theory. This chart shows a real-world example where a developer told their AI agent to speed up a slow site. Using MCP, the agent ran a performance trace, analyzed the results, suggested fixes, and boosted the site's performance score from a kind of sluggish 83 all the way up to a really speedy 97.
Now, of course, with any powerful new tool, it's super important that we understand the boundaries and use it safely. Giving an AI direct access to your browser definitely comes with some important guardrails. The main takeaway here, and this is really crucial, is that this is a tool designed exclusively for your trusted local development environment. You should never, ever connect this to a production browser. All the data is session-based, so nothing is stored permanently, and the tool always requires your explicit permission for any action, which keeps it from going rogue. So let's pull all this together. What's the big picture here? What is the real takeaway from this huge evolution in AI-assisted development?
This is a fundamental shift. We are moving way beyond AI as just a simple autocomplete or a blind code generator. With MCP, our AI assistants are becoming true interactive partners in the debugging process. They're capable of understanding context, investigating problems, and even validating their own solutions. By closing the loop between code generation and browser reality, this tool doesn't just make our current workflows faster, it opens the door to entirely new possibilities. And that leaves us with a final, really exciting question. Now that the AI can finally see, what are we going to ask it to build next?